That is the boldest thing I've heard. Wow.
AFC South title and wins MVP.
Dude, I can't take you seriously.
Really?
502 games.
No way.
No way. I could have ran for 100 yards this touchdown.
I stopped listening halfway through because that's such a bad take.
What is going on, everybody? It is time for the second episode of season 2 of Neutral Zone Reaction. I'm here, Jules Bergman. Over there is my friend Alex Ismail. He's stepping in for a deathly ill Brady Hannon today. I'm sure he'll be fine tomorrow or so. Tisk tisk. But we're excited for today's episode. Francesco is having some connection problems, so he's going to try and get in a little while. But we're going to be going over a lot of stuff. How are you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing good. Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, both our teams have the same record. We're chugging along. We're chugging along through this NFL season.
Yeah.
maybe
Season's
not
over already.
Maybe not exactly how we had hoped. Oh, but first,
Hey,
I've got Francesco Santucci in the building.
Because I had ad blocker ad on, so the pop-up never came.
The ad
I
blocker
figured it
does
out.
it. Well, it's good to see you. And Mr. Waddle over there, I can see.
Waddle.
And we
First time I
got
ever worn
Jordan
it,
Addison.
I had to take the tag off.
All right. Well, let's get right into
Rocking
it.
some
We've got
throwbacks today.
I got the throwback. You got the throwback. Is it wait? You said that is the Dolphins throwback?
That looks like one.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a Dolphins throwback. Here,
That's definitely a throwback.
Might
it's a
be.
throwback, then. I'm the best.
All right. So this week, what we got for you guys, we're starting off with our new segment, Chosen or Frozen. Then we're also going to get into our week 2 and 1 recap, some hot takes from our guests up after that, and then we're going to preview week 3. Y'all boys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's roll into Chosen or Frozen. This segment of the show is specifically sponsored by Culver's. So thank you so much, Culver's. Go after the show, go grab some of the fresh frozen custard, butter burgers, critical cut fries. They are so good. Oh, yeah. And they got some Chicagoland locations right at Buffalo Grove, Lincolnshire, Northbrook. Go get some Culver's after the show. We are so thankful for them sponsoring this segment of the show. It's time to debut Chosen or Frozen. Here's how this is going to work. We've got our nominees for the week of who's chosen and who's frozen. So who's been breaking out lately? We got the man, the myth, the legend, Cooper Cup number 2, Puka Nacua. Then we've got our fan pick for the week, Sam Howell. And then we've also got guys like Alex Highsmith, Rashid Shaheed, Nico Collins, Chris Jones, and Bijan. What do you guys think? Who is standing out for you guys as the chosen one of this group?
I kind of like Nico Collins here, to be honest. CJ Stroud is slinging it, which is not what we expected out of the Texans. And their wide receiver core is, like, actually benefiting. Like, Nico Collins is averaging, like, 20 points a game right now. It's insane. And everyone thought they were just going to pound the rock with Dameon Pierce, but CJ Stroud's throwing, like, 360 a game.
Hey, I mean, Nico's going to look real good on my fantasy team next week with that waiver pick number 1, you know?
Damn it.
I'm sorry to the
Shout
rest
out
of the league.
Shout out Tank
Oh,
Dell
man.
too in that offense though. That both receivers are cooking right now, and I don't think anybody saw that coming to start the year. Especially with a
Dell.
defensive head coach and a rookie quarterback, suspect offensive line a little bit. You would think CJ Stroud would be off to a rough start here to start the season. But
Well, I'm a little surprised that Stroud has picked him out as the number 1 guy so early. Like, I would think that D'Amico would have centered that offense around Dameon Pierce a little more. You got a guy second year standing out, and instead, Pierce might find himself on the frozen section of this list. So I don't know. What's up with him? Even the thing is, what's your opinion on the whole Texans throwing the ball 54 times in a game ordeal? I don't know about that.
It might not be sustainable, but it's fun. Like, I mean, I love it. I like that they're just letting Stroud rip it, which is not what anyone is kind of expecting. But hey, wide receivers are playable.
The running game has been so inefficient that like when they try to run it, that's like they found themselves down early against Indianapolis. They found themselves down early against was it Baltimore that they played week 1. So like the game script kind of demanded that Stroud throw the ball, maybe not 50 times, but maybe like 40 times. But still, that's sort of how the season's going to go for Houston. It's like you're going to run into a wall in the first quarter. Damian Pierce is going to average 2 yards a carry the entire season. And then you're just going to have to turn to Nico. Those we thought they were unproven receivers, but they're proving themselves right now. So
Tank Dell, Jesus.
Tank Dell. Hey, Mechie made his first catch the other day.
Saw
Props
that.
to him
Love to
for
see it.
beating leukemia and coming right back onto the field. You know. Let's move on to our next guy. I want to talk about these Rams because sure enough, you know, the easiest game on Seattle's 7-0 schedule to start the year should have been the Los Angeles Rams. So, I mean, they send out Puka and Kyron Williams and all these dudes. Is this sustainable? What do you guys think?
I think so. I think so, and it's because McVay cooks up so many of these like free like ways to get. It used to be Cooper Kupp, and it like everyone can see it that Nakua is playing that Cooper Kupp role right now, and the offense still holds up even with a 5th-round rookie that no one's ever heard of going into the season. So I think you'll have varying degrees of success depending on the level of defense and the defensive scheme that he's going up against. But I think that it's definitely sustainable stat-wise for Nakua to still rack up 10, 12 targets a game until Kupp gets back, which I'm not sure with Nakua producing the way he is. I'm not sure Kupp is going to be rushed back into this offense. So I could see Nakua racking up 10 catch games all the way up until the point that Kupp is back and healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun right now with Puka Nakua. I think Kyron Williams is a lot more sustainable because like he is the lead back. They basically hate Cam Akers as much as Arthur Smith hates Kyle Pitts. So like, they like Kyron. You know, he's a domer. But with Puka, it's fun. He'll get like his 10 targets a game for the next couple weeks. But week 5 comes around, this will be 3 or 4 targets a game at most. Daddy's coming back home. And he's not going to second to some guy named Puka.
Yeah,
hey,
Kupp is taking his role back.
Oh yeah.
So we're not thinking Nakua's staying as that guy. Because what if let's say he takes on a Robert Woods role and suddenly the Rams have that 1-2 that's top in the league, you know?
You know what?
They already have a Robert Woods, and it's Tutu Atwell. He's balling too.
You know what? I retract my statement. Puka's getting 8 catches a game.
Tutu's balling.
Yeah,
No,
he seems to be that guy right now. What
hard
about
to-
Sammy Heisman, one might say? The man from North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever said Sammy Heisman for that guy, but
I don't think he ever sniffed a Heisman. So
Hey,
I think there's been 2 Sammy Heismans, and Sam Howell is not one of them somehow.
Well, are we thinking not the Redskins, not the football team, but are we thinking the Commanders are actually going to be for real with this guy?
No. Not even
2
close.
straight no's.
They
I
are
don't know.
getting
He
7
seems
wins.
not bad.
They are getting 7 wins this year at most.
I mean, they were damn close to losing to the Cardinals week 1, and
They had to have a Bijan carry load against the Broncos out of nowhere to pull that game too. They just haven't had any impressive wins.
Yeah, they have played bad teams and have barely beat them. So I'm not buying it.
Here, one do.
And also they're Washington
schedule.
So like I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the way I need to look at their schedule.
All right. Yeah, here's what's gonna happen, all right? Next week's gonna roll around and they play the Buffalo Bills. They are gonna get run out.
And who's
so
after the
that's
Bills?
Oh God, I had it up and now I got rid of it.
Oh,
Let me
because
look.
I think I know who's after the Bills.
They play the Bills.
I think they got to play an
No, it's
absolute.
the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles are next.
So they got to play the Eagles and then they play the Bears.
The Bears.
So they're going to be 2-2, and then they got Bears, Falcons, Giants, Eagles. I legitimately think they maybe win 2 games in the next 6 weeks. Maybe.
I don't know. Bears are
Give me the
pretty
Bears.
dominant. We're a team of destiny. Destined for the first and second overall picks.
It's gonna be so hype after 1-2.
Short season for you guys, Dan.
Yeah, I'm already kind of convinced the season's over, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, out of the rest of the guys, we got you guys wanted to talk about Chris Jones, Bijan. We already talked about Collins. What about Chris Jones and Bijan is standing out to you right now? Because I think they're already studs.
Well, I mean, Chris Jones is chosen just because you could see the night and day difference on that defense between week 1 and week 2. Week 1 he wasn't there, and Detroit was able to run all over them. And week two he's back in the lineup after signing that contract, and what we all thought was a pretty explosive offense in Jacksonville put up 9 points. Jones had a sack and a half. He had a tackle for loss. He had a pass defended. He was doing it all for the Chiefs defense. So, I mean, maybe I misinterpreted the segment a little bit, but I mean, Chris Jones is like, if you want to prove your value to a team in as far as like what the front office should be paying you, and you want to prove yourself for a contract, the way you do it is by not showing up week 1 and seeing how bad your unit performs, and then show up week 2 and ball the hell out for the Chiefs defense that is looking pretty good right now with a healthy and motivated Chris Jones for the moment. So that was why I nominated Chris Jones for this segment, just because how night and day his impact was last week.
Fair enough.
I don't got much to say about Chris Jones. He's Khan's dad and he's the GOAT. So like,
he's a proven baller. I can't believe they gave Mahomes the raise though. Like, you took all that time in the offseason to not pay Chris Jones. And then they say, oh, we've got some extra cash floating around. Let's give it to our quarterback, not our defensive guy who just held out for the whole offseason.
I mean, yeah,
quarterback.
They didn't want to extend the older defensive tackle. I see why they did it, but at the same time, it's not a good look.
No, not at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then for Bijan's just the eye test, really. Like, you watch a Falcons game, and like me personally, I would just get so irritated every time he came off the field and Algier went on the field. Not even for fantasy reasons, just as a football fan.
Well, yeah, you seem pretty upset that he wasn't getting the goal line.
He's like already just visually a top 3 running back in the NFL. I don't care. This is like, I watched him in college and I knew sort of what to expect, but he is translating perfectly. He blocks, he runs, he catches. His vision is amazing. And I am not a believer in the slightest in pretty much the rest of that Falcons offense. But Bijan or the running game in general, but Bijan over Algier, I think, has been the emphasis for Arthur Smith to start the year, and they're producing, which I didn't really see coming, and that's, I think, because Bijan has even exceeded his lofty expectations to start the year. So,
you think they get close to the rushing record of the NFL?
The team record?
Yeah.
I think in order to do that, you need to have a rushing quarterback, because you need...
Desmond Ridder ran it 10 times the other day.
Oh, did he? I wasn't even...
Pretty sure. I think he had 10 runs. Algier had 12 or 13, and then Bijan had 16 or 17, if I recall correctly. I mean, they run the ball a lot.
That needs to be like 23 for Bijan and like 6 for the other two.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I mean, Desmond Ritter's going to start facing loaded boxes pretty quickly. He's going to get the Christian Ponder, Adrian Peterson treatment pretty soon, and we'll see if he can beat it. But I don't have faith. I don't have faith in the young man. So
All
I
right.
think defenses
I
are going to
wasn't-
realize pretty soon.
I wasn't expecting a Christian Ponder name drop here. Straight up.
You know me.
Well, out of all these guys, also shout out Rashid Shaheed, deep threat, and Alex Highsmith for going off. I want to talk about Rashid for a sec because suddenly, every time he's like what everyone wants Jalen Hyatt to be out of the draft. I mean, Jalen Hyatt was the leading receiver for the Giants the other day. Shout out, but
He was balling.
go Vols. But Rashid Shaheed, they keep throwing him the ball downfield and he keeps making the plays, and I don't think that that's going to go away anytime soon, personally. But I don't know. Out of the guys we talked about, I need you all to pick one person that was not your selection as this week's chosen player. I'm gonna go Nico Collins.
I'm also going to go Nico Collins if that's okay, because Puka, I think, is mostly Sean McVay. So yeah, I'm going to go with Nico.
I was gonna go Kyron Williams. I think dude might actually be like a top 10 back this year in fantasy.
Yeah,
To be honest,
he could be. All right, so the
especially
chosen
if he's
player
that low.
this week is going to Nico Collins.
You're welcome for
A
suggesting.
little
him.
round of applause.
I saw
and then-
Jules' screenshot and I was like, wait, Nico Collins isn't on this list? What?
And all right, now let's go to Frozen, and we'll speed up Frozen a little bit because I want to hear your hot takes. But the people we've got down for Frozen: Jamar Chase, a rough 2 weeks; Damian Pierce, a very rough 2 weeks; Justin the Savior Fields, a very, very rough 2 weeks; and then Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Sean Payton. What are we thinking here? Let's talk about the Bears real quick.
I don't want to.
I don't really want to either, but I feel like
I'm
as
fine
Bears
with it.
fans- What?
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you guys rant. Let's go.
Everything is a screen pass. Every single down is a screen pass. When do you figure out that you need to throw the ball down the field? And you know what? I haven't seen a single bit of this Justin Fields crazy spark that we saw last year, where he would just run out and run past everyone. It's just not in the offense anymore. You can't just say to him, you have to stay in the pocket the whole time. And you know what? Last year, the whole thing was, oh, he needs to be more of a pocket passer. And now this year, it's like, where did our old Justin Fields go? It's like it's a whole, what do you call it? It's a whole seesaw going on with the Bears. Our offensive coordinator does not know what he's doing in the slightest. And now it's just pitiful to watch. I had to watch the Vols look like the Bears on Saturday, and then I had to watch the Bears look like the Bears on Sunday. And that's all I have to say.
Well, Jules shared my sentiments pretty well. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it was just I'm not a huge fan of throwing behind the line of scrimmage on 3rd and long. I think that's kind of a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
We're better than that. Screen passes in our own end zone is absurd. Especially when we ran the same play 2 straight times before that pick six. That was absurd. We ran 3 straight screen passes, the same look, the same formation, 3 straight plays. And then who picked it off? Was it Levante David? Right?
No, it was Shaq Barrett.
Or Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett's like, oh, wait, I've seen this back-to-back plays. I wonder what it's going to be. It's the same freaking thing. He stabs it. Nice play, but like, wasn't like right to his breadbasket, but he still stabbed it. But it was so ridiculous. But
It was pitiful.
Hey, maybe we beat the Chiefs this week, then we're so back.
I mean, here's my question for you guys: is you guys are desperately saying stop the screens? What if that's what Fields is? Honestly, that's what Getsy sees as the most efficient way in the passing game. Like, the drop back passing game is so bad that screens are the only way to have an effective passing game, which is not really effective anyway in its own right. So that's clearly wrong. But you've seen his pocket presence is terrible. His vision down the field is terrible. He's got a great arm and has no idea how to use it. And the route concepts are trash. It's a whole mess. And then what Jules was saying is the field we saw last year. The fields you saw last year averaged like 150 passing yards a game. This is the field
but
you
he was
saw
exciting.
last year. just
exciting 'cause
without
he
the
would produce
rushing.
points.
Okay, but here's
The
the
Fields you
problem,
saw
right?
last year led the team to 3 wins. So part of this is your own doing in
Pretty
that
bad.
Bears
Yeah.
fans watched the worst team in the NFL last year and said, oh, I know. You know what will fix this? At the 16th best receiver in the NFL and spending, I don't even know how much money on off-ball linebackers. And so the expectations were kind of unwarranted to begin with. And him being on the top 100 list for the NFL, it was all bound to come crashing down eventually. I'm surprised how quickly it came crashing down. That's what I will say. Chicago fans are very fickle.
Well, here's what I got to say to that. Wait, what was that, friend?
It's been a rough 2 weeks, man.
Yes. Here's what I got to say to that. To answer your initial
Groundhog
question.
Day, but in hell.
To answer your very initial question of that sequence. First off, I think you're taking a shot at DJ Moore. And second off, I think if we're gonna to answer the question, if we're gonna be throwing screen passes, why are they going to any other receiver than DJ Moore? He's our playmaker. Give him the football.
Dude, what do you mean? Mooney's electric.
They're throwing to Claypool. They're throwing to Mooney. Mooney is not a bad receiver, but
Felix Jones bubble screens, more of those.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. We just seem very dysfunctional right now as a team. It doesn't look like there's a lot of cohesion at all for the entire game. We had, to be fair, we looked fantastic. 2 drives of the game. Looked like we knew what we were doing.
Both drives.
Because DJ Moore was active. And that was like the only times DJ Moore got target was that first drive, which I was like, oh my God, we're back. We had a good first drive. I was like, maybe we just got like the scaries away from playing the Packers, and now we're good. And we had that awesome first drive. I was watching the Tennessee game all over again. I watched the awesome first drive, and then just nothing the rest of the game. And I was like, well, I'm glad we really schemed out the first drive, but nothing for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped out. I don't know. We seem dysfunctional. It's not. I mean, Fields doesn't look good. I mean, it's been pretty lackadaisical. His drop back. I've seen so many. I don't know. I feel like I'm watching.
I saw that same video.
I'm in Groundhog's Day where I'm like, I remember when it was Mitch's last year and there were like screenshots of big circles on wide open receivers, and I saw some on like Twitter all week, and I was like, oh man, I'm just living the same horrible life all over again. I don't know. It's been. I'm not going to blame it all on him. I do feel like a lot of it's play calling from Getsy. I saw a tweet earlier today about all the Bears offensive coordinators for the last 10 years, and literally like one of their last like 8 have had like any NFL experience before they took the job, which is just absurd. And it was like Adam Gase, like it was unbelievable. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the Bears anymore. I have to watch them get smoked by the Chiefs this weekend. So,
all right, let's move on from the Bears. I think we can already conclude that no matter who the other nominees are, that the entire Bears organization is frozen.
Well, they're definitely frozen.
I don't know.
Is this you have someone else?
I have a couple names.
Okay,
the
go for it.
guy who played yesterday, Deshaun Watson. You know what's worse about the Watson situation?
They're paying him $240 million.
Salary. The Browns are paying Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed $60 million cap hits for the next 3 years. They can't. The Bears can bottom out this year and draft whatever quarterback they want and say we're starting over. The Browns, if they tried to cut Watson, would be taking on like $130 million in dead cap. It's a completely unsolvable situation. The only way it can get better is if Watson gets a time machine. He looks just as bad as Fields does, to be honest.
Ooh.
And with a better offensive line, with, I don't know about better weapons, but comparable weapons in Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore and Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think that's a comparable
by a mile.
What, by a mile?
I said better team in general by a mile.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, his defense is
fantastic.
Absolutely amazing. And the Steelers made a fourth quarter comeback yesterday with negative offensive yards in the fourth quarter. How is that possible? It's only possible because the quarterback of the other team that's taking up a third of the salary cap is playing like absolute garbage. And also, like, sometimes you see, like, oh, this player stinks. But, like, say, like, a Jimmy Garoppolo, which we don't have to get into all that. But Jimmy G, maybe not the best football player, but, God, does his locker room love him.
Are the Browns better with Jimmy G?
He's the worst dude in the NFL, and he can't play football. It's the worst of both worlds, and it's a total mess, which is why Deshaun Watson's my nomination.
Wow.
I would like a quick nomination, one that hits a little home in my heart. I'm going to go the entire receiving options on the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, yeah.
I think Arthur Smith hates throwing the ball, and if he can avoid it at all costs, besides it going to Bijan, he'll do it. I just want to know, as someone who's owned Kyle Pitts the last 2 years in fantasy, what is the
that's
point?
On you.
Well, no. Hear me out. What is the point of drafting? What is the point of drafting a tight end higher than any tight end has ever been drafted for in NFL history? He's an athletic freak. He is like a mismatch. Every person that he comes against, he's just a complete mismatch against. And then they throw in the ball 3 times a game. It makes no sense. But he run blocks. That's like it's like worse than George Kittle's situation where it's like the problem is he plays left tackle. Like Kyle Pitts isn't even like that good of a run blocker. He's just only allowed the run block. It's absurd. Like I don't know. That's just my personal rant. That and like Najee Harris are my frozen, to be honest, because I literally think Jalen Warren is gonna be the Steelers starting running back by week 8 because
he's realistic.
He's way more efficient and productive than Najee Harris has been. I saw a tweet today and it was like Najee Harris always looks like he's only trying to lose 1 yard on every game. But yeah, those are my 2 quick ones. I just had to get them out there. It was on my mind. It was hurting me.
You talk down on the Falcons receiver corps. How are you going to talk down about freak of nature, Matt Collins?
I'm not doing the Matt Collins thing.
It's Desmond Ridder. It's not even the receivers. it's Ridder. He's bad.
Ridder? Hey, Ridder's been competent. They're winning games. They did something the Bears sure couldn't do. Beat Green Bay. He led a game-winning drive. They were down 24-12 and came back and won. I mean, that says something about the Falcons to me. I still think that even though there's 3 teams in the NFC South that are 2-0, that Atlanta significantly has looked more like a real threat to win the division and make playoffs than the other 2 have. I'm
going to withhold my hot take for later, but I've got a hot take.
Fair enough.
I also have a hot take about this.
All right, so if you got to we'll go to that in just a sec. If you got to pick your frozen player of the week, who's it going to be? I'll give it to Francesco first.
Oh, man, I'm really...
And I'll say it can be someone you picked or someone we picked.
Oh, man, I'm really torn between 2. Does it have to be one player?
Yeah, one player or one team.
I'll go Najee Harris just because it feels right. Because he's just been so brutal to start the year, and he was so brutal last year, and he was so inefficient his rookie year, but he just got so much workload that no one even cared about it. But now that he doesn't have Big Ben, and he has Kenny Two Gloves, it's been so glaring that he's so bad. That's my pick.
Sure. I'm a little annoyed. I didn't even get into the hilarity of the Sean Payton, Russell Wilson era in Denver. Because nothing makes me happier than making fun of Sean Payton. And he said that Nat Hackett was the worst coaching job in the history of the NFL last year and is now 0-2 with the same team. So shout out to Nat Hackett. But like I said, it's got to be Watson, just on national television, no less. So that's my choice.
Come on out.
Yeah. Well, I got to obviously, I think I'm still going to stick with the Fields and the Bears offense. I've never been more disappointed watching the Bears in since 2018 playoffs than right now. I mean, it has been so rough having to try and watch this team after another hopeful offseason. We should have known that they were going to come out and suck. And they do it to us every offseason. We look like we're making moves, and they didn't. They got a lot of guys in free agency.
They are who we
It was
thought they
garbage.
were.
At least you
All
didn't
right.
fumble 6 times in the first 2 weeks.
So I'll ask Brady when he's feeling better who he thinks of the 3 who he'll pick, and then we'll say that that's our official Frozen Player of the Week. But moving on, let's go to Sean Payton and the Broncos in the background. You can see the Hail Mary, one of the most electrifying plays of week 1, just to not get the 2-point conversion. But what are our thoughts on both the as you were talking about the Broncos? I'm wondering, are the Broncos completely going to be just down like this all year, or are they still playing for something? And then we'll get into your hot takes. I just want to talk about the Broncos real quick.
Sure. I mean, the thing that gets lost in the Hail Mary, that it's like kind of lucky for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson that play happened and drew the headlines. Because if that play didn't happen, the headline is they blew a 21-point second half lead to Washington at home, which is like with like a defense that's supposed to be really good. Like
it was awful.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Russ is cooked. Russ, don't let Russ cook. Russ is cooked.
Mr. Unlimited.
Yes, Mr. Unlimited.
I mean, statistically, he's better than last year, but just like he's not winning, and he doesn't look. Last year, he was like a bottom 3 statistical quarterback. This year, he's like a bottom 15, bottom 10 statistical quarterback, which like fine. That works if the rest of your team is good, but the rest of the team isn't good. So they don't have a chance in hell of winning the division with the Chiefs in it. And it's going to be hard for them to even sniff a wild card spot too. And Russell Wilson's contract is almost as bad as Deshaun Watson's. So
fair enough.
I don't have any hopes for Denver moving forward.
I think they'll go 8-9.
I don't know.
Sniffing a playoff spot.
Not in the AFC. I don't think
they
so.
They just had 2 of what
And the
should have
NFC
been.
though.
They just had 2 of what should have been some of the easiest games on their schedule, and lost both of them and choked them away. All right, wait. Did you see this stat too? Are the Broncos the team that it was on of a team that's lost like 7 or 8 or 9 straight games leading at halftime? It might have been Denver.
A good amount. It was like Denver has lost like 7 or 8 straight after leading at half. It's kind of crazy.
It's bad. It's real bad.
It's like they're the first like team in like 40 years something to do it. I saw that post on Instagram. I forgot about it.
All right, let's go to hot takes because I want to hear what you guys got for us this year. We are lucky enough to have 2 guest hosts for our second episode, so it's early enough in the season to make some outlandish calls. What do you got for us?
I'm scared to say mine. I'm scared to say mine.
I got 3 with varying degrees of hotness. I've got 1 that's like and then 2 that are pretty.
Give us your 2 hottest ones today.
Okay, actually, we already touched on the most mild one, so I don't have to get into it. But my most mild one was that between Eberflus and Getsy, one of them doesn't make it to Halloween. That's like week 9, I think.
I can see
so.
it.
I think Eberflus is more likely than Getsy, but I think either one of them could get cut by Halloween. And then my 2 crazy ones, just bear with me here.
Here we go.
By the end of the season, Anthony Richardson versus Trevor Lawrence is a discussion in the AFC South for best quarterback in the division. That's number 1.
Okay.
And then my second one, should we want to talk about that?
Yeah, hold on. Slow it down for a sec.
Okay, then.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. I don't know. First off, I don't know that Anthony Richardson is going to make it a whole season the way he's been playing. He is so – they're going to have to teach him how to get down and not take these hits because he's been taken out of the game in both of the first 2 games. But that being said –
good, man. He's good.
That being said, oh my, the flashes of Cam Newton that I see with this Anthony Richardson. He's been balling out. And like, I bet on him anytime touchdown score. Should have put first touchdown score because every time he touches the ball, he's gonna run into the end zone. I mean, it's crazy. He's throwing the rock pretty well too. It's a shame he couldn't last all game, but Minshew Mania was there to clean up the dirty dishes. So, I mean, yeah, you could be right there. He could be the real deal.
Yeah.
Fred?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is already like pushing. He's already like a top 10 quarterback. So, and some people would put him in their top 5. So that might be lofty, but I also don't love what I've seen from Trevor to start the season either.
Me neither.
And I think Richardson, like, he's infinitely better as a passer than even the most optimistic people would have thought week 1. They would have said, oh, yeah, give him some time. He's already there throwing. He's already efficient in that regard. And then the rushing just takes him to another level. So love that about Richardson. And he's just so fun to watch. So maybe I was a little optimistic there. And then the second one.
Well, hey, let's give Fran a turn.
Oh, sure.
Well, just in response to that, I think that's absurd.
Yeah, I figured.
I think that's absolutely absurd. Trevor Lawrence is like arguably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Arguably. Like everyone in their mom,
Trevor goes down and Richardson goes up.
Everyone and their mom has been like, "Oh, Trevor Lawrence, top 5 quarterback in the NFL this year." Like, there's no way that Anthony Richardson this year, at the end of the year, is in discussion for top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He'll maybe break top 10 at the highest. I would say 15, honestly.
I just think it's a conversation. It's a discussion.
It's more like one of those Socratic seminars in school where everyone's like just trying to get their own point across, and then there's like no discussion on it. They're done.
People are going to be playing devil's advocate.
Respectfully disagreeing.
Yeah.
All right, Fran.
All right.
You're up.
Okay. I have some spice.
Okay.
But I wrote this down at 2 p.m. today when I got the call up. But there's been news breaking out of the Browns camp that might change this pick. Okay, how about this? I'll say it like this initially. If Kareem Hunt does not sign for the Cleveland Browns, Jerome Ford will lead the AFC North in rushing yards this year. Dude's a dog.
Oh, just the AFC North?
Yeah, that's not even a hot take.
Come on, say the whole AFC.
You got Lamar.
Say the AFC.
You got Lamar.
That's hot take hour.
You got Lamar, Gus, Najee, and Joe Mixon. And who's going to lead them? Jerome Ford.
You just talked about how bad Najee was.
Yeah. You just named 4 800-yard rushers.
Come on, say the whole AFC.
Okay, fine.
It's hot take
top 3 in the AFC this year. Top 3 at most.
Even his competition in the AFC.
Lots of people.
Yeah, they got great running back Austin Eckler there. He's so scary.
Oh, Josh Jacobs. You got all those guys. All right, fine. I'll go to a more spicy one. I thought that was pretty freaking spicy. AFC North, you have all those running options, and you think Jerome Ford? No. Puka Nacua is going to break the Waddle record of rookie receptions of 104.
I mean, he's 20% there.
Think about it. No one thinking, rookie reception record. It's 104, right? It's set by Jalen Waddle 2 years ago. I had to look this up because I was wondering what the heck it was. Puka is 25 already in 2 games. Say he gets, I was doing some math earlier. Say he gets 8 receptions in the next 2 games, then Kupp comes back. Puka has to average a little over 5 catches a game for the rest of the season. That's like completely doable as a wide receiver too, especially when Stafford's throwing the ball like 40 times a game. So I think by the end of the year, Puka Nacua will somehow be the top rookie receiving option ever.
You can't even say it without laughing.
No, it's gonna happen.
I don't know.
Not so fast.
Hey, it's a hot take.
Waddle got that. Waddle got that record before Tyreek was there, right?
Yeah.
Correct. No wide receiver two. You put Cooper Kupp out there.
He's gonna do it.
Puka is gonna be good, but you put Cooper Kupp out there and expect him to have that kind of volume every game. I agree that it's doable.
Hold up.
But
what receptions does Tutu Atwell have in the first 2 games? Let's just take a look at their wide receiver 2 right now.
Puka Tutu.
Okay, he has 4. What does he have? He has 13 receptions. You're telling me that Puka can't steal a couple receptions a game from Tutu Atwell and get his own looks? Come on, that's gonna happen.
They're different receivers. Like, I mean, here, Jules. So let me defend this take for a little bit. Let me imagine this. Imagine it's week 5, and Cooper Kupp is questionable to return, but Puka has been averaging 12 catches a game for the past month, and McVay is like, you know what? Rest up, Kupp. Go until you're 100%. Just sit out. It's week 9, and Puka is still chugging out 100-yard games. He's already 80% of the way there. That by the time Kupp gets back, that he only needs 3 catches a game to break this record. Like, it's possible that he gets such a head start on this record just by virtue of Kupp being held out a little bit longer than people expected him to, that it's totally doable.
I mean, it's absurd. 25 catches in your 2 debut games. It's absurd. Like,
absolutely.
He broke Anquan Bolden's record by like 7 catches. Like, that's absurd. Like, what the hell? And he tied Anquan Bolden's first game of like most receptions by a receiver on their debut. He tied Bolden's record, and then he broke Bolden's 2-game record. Like, it's ridiculous. But that's my hottest take I have.
That's not bad.
Since I got Shannon for Jerome Ford.
to respond to Alex,
AFC North was a cop out. That was a total cop out.
To respond to Alex real quick,
I just think there's a lot of running backs
absolutely.
in the AFC North.
Yeah, you couldn't have said the North. Their best 2 running backs are, I mean, J.K. is out for the year, and Najee and Warren are splitting, and then they got Mixon, who's done nothing.
Mixon's washed.
Mixon's done nothing so far. But to respond to Alex real quick, there's no way the Rams just say, at least with the way the Rams are playing right now, there's no way that they tell him, oh, just, wait until you're 100%. Because the Rams have so far looked like they could contend for a wild card spot, and I just don't think that they wait for Cooper to say, oh, like week 9 is ridiculous to say. I don't think there's any way he stays out past week 6.
I think week 6 is a fair return date for Cooper Kupp, to be honest.
I think week 6 is fair. Week 9,
especially if the Rams go like 3-3 in that time, which is better than anyone thought they would ever be by week 6. Like that's like there for like possible wild card. But I think Puka might have like 50 catches by week 6, so he can just like coast into the record. Then he needs what? Possible. He's halfway there with 11 games left. That's especially with the extra game. Oh, dude, it's Puka's to lose.
Oh, Waddle also had that extra game.
Well, yeah, so Puka's to lose.
All right, Alex, what's
Puka Nacua is going to break?
All right, this is yeah. I did a soft test with on these takes, and I thought this was hotter, but my dad thought the Richardson one was hotter. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. But this is sort of, again, a two-parter. The Carolina Panthers acquire T. Higgins at the trade deadline and win the NFC South.
Give me a break.
Blazing hot. That's what we're here for.
No way.
No
way.
No.
All right, you ready for me to defend this again?
I can't.
I'm
going to
pitch you another hypothetical.
One.
Joe Burrow misses the next 3 weeks, and the Bengals are 0-5. You don't think they're shopping for soon-to-be free agent T. Higgins?
No.
There's no way Burrow's missing 3 weeks. First of all, he's questionable just for Monday night to start.
You don't think that?
Second of all,
it's a little bit like. We don't know what Joe Burrow's health is like right now.
They're 0-2. They're in must-win mode already to try and contend for the North.
Torn Achilles happens.
He can recover.
Yeah.
Like Nick Chubb, he'll be back up next week.
First off, the Panthers. What do the Panthers have to trade away to get T. Higgins?
Oh, Adam Thielen, dude.
That's part of why I thought a little bit of like, is this realistic for the Panthers? What would need to happen is the Bengals are so hopeless at the deadline that they just need to sell and don't have a bunch of suitors. Which,
Dude,
I-
what do you mean? Adam Thielen's big trade bait for the Bengals, dude.
I mean,
Like for
what-
like swap.
All the picks that the Panthers had to trade are in Ryan Poles' hands this year.
They're at Hallis Hall.
They're in Alice Hall.
isn't it just one first this year?
I think we have a second, no?
There's a couple.
Or a third?
There's like a second or a third in there as well.
If
And like
it's
a
a
fifth or
second,
something.
then I take this take back.
Doesn't matter. Even if it's not a second, even if it's just the first, I mean, the Panthers are gonna say, "Hey, we need some guys who are young, who are T. Higgins is what? Is he in a contract year yet?
Yeah,
He's
this is
his
gotta be near the end of the rookie
that's
deal.
why the
Although-
Bengals would be trying to offload him.
Yeah,
I do
but the
really like
Panthers
T.
wouldn't be
Higgins as a
wanting a
wide
guy
receiver.
like that. They want a guy who Bryce Young can build up a connection with over multiple years.
Well,
Wait, is your
obviously
take
they
T.
would
Higgins
pay
is
them.
too old?
No, I'm just saying I don't think they would invest picks in a guy who they'll have for 1 year or
they would
maybe
extend
two,
him.
and then have to hope
No,
that he'll
well,
re-sign with them.
If they
They
trade,
would
then he's going to
extend-
re-sign them.
Yeah,
Not
that's part of the
necessarily.
that's like you wouldn't trade significant draft capital for a guy that you don't envision being on your team long term with a rookie quarterback.
Well, here's my thing. That take is still just so wrong, but I can see what you're saying.
This take also, I think even without they're 0-2, everyone else in the division is 2-0. I still think they could win the division.
But what about the entire rest of the Panthers roster gives you any hope that they could win the division?
The defense
They are,
is
they
the
are
best
the
in the
worst team in the
division.
NFC South.
There is no way their defense is the best in the division. There's no
And
way.
Their
I would
quarterback
probably
is the
give
second
that
best
to
in
the Saints.
Their
or the
quarterback
Bucs,
is
to
the
be
second
honest.
best in the division.
We don't know how good Bryce Young will or won't be, but I can tell you right
I'm
now, the
telling you
Saints
right-
defense just locked them up for the entire game until the 2-minute warning when they
That
gave
was a 3-point
20 yards of
game.
cushion. It was 20-9 for the entire game. And then
Yeah,
or
20 okay.
it was 20-9, and then the
You
Saints
asked for a hot
gave him-
take, and I gave you one.
that did happen. I think this one's a little too flaming for me to have any conviction in it.
I'm stuck between two here. One I'm thinking with my heart, and one I'm thinking with my head. Oh God, what should I pick here?
For what?
There, another hot take. I got.
Oh,
two
you
and they're-
another? All right, I'll give you each another
Oh.
one, and then we gotta move on to this week in Vegas.
Well,
I
I
don't
scrapped
have-
the Jerome Ford thing because you guys got all pissy about it. So I said whatever. You know what? I'm just gonna say both. See which one sticks. One at the start of the year.
No. You gotta go. You gotta pick one. None of this wishy-washiness,
All right.
because
Just
then
to
you're gonna
respond,
talk
then-
You're gonna
All
talk
right, fine.
so much
Fine,
at the
fine,
end of the
fine,
year if your
First of
second
all,
one hits.
just a response then to the Panthers thing. The Bucks are going to win the NFC South, but
No chance.
my hot
They're
take,
not good.
they're good. Baker Mania, baby. My second hot take. I was looking at the schedule, okay, and
Oh no.
this weekend it will finally happen. Kyle Pitts will have 25 plus against the Lions on fantasy value. He will score 25 points of fantasy against the Lions. I know what you're thinking, right? Kyle Pitts has had like 5 points the last 2 weeks. Today is the day that Kyle Pitts' breakout game happened. I think I said the same thing last year about
I
Kyle
was just about to
Pitts
say
on my
that.
hot take hour. And
You
fantasy,
called
and
him
it
to
was
get his first score of the year last year, and it happened.
And it happened. I said Kyle Pitts is going to score his first touchdown in America, and he scored it that weekend. So this weekend, 25 points for Kyle Pitts. If I'm wrong, I'm not. It's right. That's my
Just
hot
when-
take.
Just when you tried to, you nominated him for Frozen. You
Yeah,
nominated him,
And
and now
he's chosen
oh,
next week.
he's back.
Dude,
Get
get
help,
me on.
man.
Get me on next week, and I'll make him chosen.
If you or a loved one is suffering from Kyle Pitts addiction, get
This
help.
is like Danger Russ last year, dude. I
Get
can't
some
stop.
help.
Dude,
All right, if
what's wrong with that take,
that's-
guys?
It's because he averages like 6 fantasy points a game. That's what's wrong
Maybe
with it.
I think Desmond's looking his way. The Lions don't have a good DB core.
Also, low key, Jack Campbell. I had a really high grade on Jack Campbell going into the draft last year. I was like the only person in America that didn't hate that pick by Detroit.
Well, I mean, look at
and
his name.
he's
That's a
nice.
linebacker name.
And he's went to Iowa. He's like 250 pounds. He's built.
He's a built
And he
linebacker.
can move. He's nice. I think the days of tight ends going crazy against Detroit are a bit over.
No shot. He's gonna pick up
Anzalone
Rodrigo.
was not a tight end eraser, but Campbell definitely can be.
Okay.
I would
and what's
like- I
your
would like
last
Jack
hot take,
Campbell to-
Alex?
I would like
I think-
Jack Campbell to try and stand up against Kyle Pitts and see how it goes.
Jack Campbell's gonna lock him up.
No,
Yeah.
no one can. I'm just saying the middle of the field isn't wide open like it's been in the past. But I didn't have. I only came in with 3 like fully written out. But here's one that I was messing around with. Is the Giants don't win again until October 29th.
I almost put something of the Giants lose like the next 4 games.
Yeah, they're
might get run out of
playing
town.
the Niners.
How did they
the
win?
Seahawks.
How did they win this week?
Oh, that's a great question.
I texted my buddy.
Honestly,
when the Giants scored, I texted my only Giants fan I have 2 Giants fan friends. I texted one of them and said, "Oh my gosh, the Giants scored a touchdown." I went home at like halftime before turning the games on again later, and suddenly they won. I'm what?
It was
yeah,
awesome,
Cardinals can
dude.
Cardinal.
It was awesome. I picked the Giants in my eliminator pool this week because I was like, oh, lock of the year. And by halftime, I was so given up. I was like, oh my god, I'm out. And we came back and won, and I stayed alive. I couldn't believe it. I was so hyped. I was like giving a fist pump to Graham Gano, punching that in.
Oh my gosh.
It was
I
unbelievable.
mean, honestly, I don't know just how bad the Cardinals are going to tank this year. So I don't know if anybody has a realistic shot of Caleb Williams other than the Cardinals. But if anybody does, the Giants, my hot take can be the Giants are threatening there. Like the Giants are going to have like a top 6 draft pick.
Yeah,
Because
they're
they have looked
significantly worse than I
terrible.
expected, and somehow
Saquon
won.
is out, and they play the NFC East. Not a good recipe.
Yeah,
So, and then the other division they play. Oh yeah, that's the AFC East. So, like, they're kind of screwed. And
They could be.
Yeah.
All right, let's
yeah.
let's just close out
Right,
today's
go on.
show with this week in Vegas. I don't know if you had something to add just now, but
I'm gonna completely off the rails. If the Vikings lose this week, Kirk Cousins gets traded to the Jets. Thank you.
I like that. I like that actually. That makes sense for both teams.
Hate to break
The
it to you,
Jets really could win the Super Bowl with him.
but Kirk Cousins might be in East Rutherford by week 4. If that's the
Jules,
only
now
threshold.
you're in on Kirk Cousins winning a Super Bowl? Now?
If he's on the Jets, yeah, I would be.
Oh,
The Jets
okay.
The Jets are a really formidable team.
Okay.
What's the
beat the
big deal
Bills.
with that? Come on. What's the
They
I
beat,
just
they beat the
had-
Bills.
I've
To be
heard-
fair, it was the 9-11 game, so that's pretty unfair to judge it
I
based on
have
that
heard-
game.
I've heard for the last 3 years that Kirk Cousins can't win a Super Bowl. And I swear to God, if he gets traded to the Jets and suddenly all of New York media is like, Kirk Cousins can win a Super Bowl, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna
I mean-
lose it.
he can with the Jets.
I don't know if we're allowed to swear on here. But
Not
Well,
I'm
particularly.
gonna lose.
I said
I'm
I said
gonna lose.
shat earlier, so
I almost just dropped an F-bomb there. Okay.
All right, I want to
God, I
let's
can't
go
wait to
through
go
our-
3-0. Cannot wait to
Vegas
go 3-0 this week. Be awesome.
Fran is just so not going 3-0, but I don't think I've ever gone 3-0 in Vegas. I already started the year off sub 500 as everyone expected. What's your first pick, Mr. Santucci?
Oh, we know what? I think this one's going to be a little bit not controversial at all. We're going to go to U.S. Bank. Might hit a little home to someone in this
Oh, dear.
podcast.
Oh, no.
We're gonna take Chargers plus 1.5. I don't think this is a crazy take. I really don't see the Chargers losing this game, and they're underdogs. So just because they're on the road, like big whoop. So I'm gonna take the Chargers
They're
plus
not
1.5
dogs
here.
anymore. They're not dogs anymore, by the way. It's a pick 'em.
They're not what?
The
Oh,
line moved. It's a pick 'em now.
The
Oh.
line moved already. Oh, yeah.
what
I
a
don't know what
take.
lines you're looking at, Fran. I saw it as even today.
I
Yeah,
looked on
it's a pick 'em.
FanDuel Sportsbook at 2:30 this thing, and they had Chargers plus 1.5. So
That's where
I should have gotten in on that. Hey, I go by opening lines. Man. Sorry, I go by what I had my written down.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll give you that line.
Thank you. Doesn't matter; they're winning anyways. But
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, it's probably a good bet. I'm not gonna lie.
I might lay it just for fun.
If they lose to Minnesota, is Brandon Staley fired?
Oh, that's a great question. We should have touched on that.
He's been pretty bad.
I mean, definitely by the end of the year.
But who's going to
And
go
the
for
worst,
fourth and long?
like, both teams have looked way better than 0-2 this year. Like, the Vikings have been able to move the ball. The Chargers have been able to move the ball. And for the Vikings, it's just been turnovers. And for the Chargers, it's just been they can't stop anybody. But, like, it's fixable. Actually, I don't know how fixable the Chargers probably. But the Vikings
I
probably
can't believe the Chargers lost to the Titans this week. I
Me
was
neither.
shocked.
I
The
had-
Titans
I
are so
got
bad.
Tennessee plus 3, lock of the century.
I had the Chargers
believe
minus 2.5, and so did 86% of America, according to BR betting.
I couldn't
That's
believe it.
called a square bet, my friend. Get
I
shut
couldn't
couldn't
believe
believe it. The Titans' offense looked so bad against the Saints. They had 5 field goals. Like, I can't believe they beat the Titans. So stupid. Whatever.
Yeah, speaking of square bets, though, my first pick is kind of square, but I'm not gonna lie, it's too good. It's the Miami Dolphins only giving 6.5 at home against the Fighting Sean Paytons. So Dolphins by
Minus
touchdown
6.5?
is pretty safe.
I don't like
Yeah.
that line. I think Broncos covered that.
I don't love that line. I don't.
No,
The Dolphins played a close game with New England this week, and I think
yeah, division.
I don't know. I just think that the Broncos could make it. There's a lot of pressure on the Broncos right now, and I just don't think that they let this be more than a touchdown game. It could be a touchdown, and maybe they cover the 6.5. And I didn't really touch that line, but I don't think this is more than a touchdown game. Is it in Denver or in Miami?
It's in Miami. 76% of the money is on Miami.
Trap.
Sounds like a
That's a little that's what I'm
square
saying.
bet.
It's square. It's square. Don't care. Fade Sean Payton at all costs. That's my favorite.
All right, my first pick of the game. I've got a few primetime games this week, but let's start with this Thursday night. We have seen George Kittle's 49ers dominate already once this season.
I know what this is.
I think they will cover the minus 10 against the New York Giants.
Oh, it was minus 10 now. Okay. When I checked this afternoon, it was 10.5.
When I checked, it was
And I didn't
10,
want that
so
hook. I did not want that hook.
I'm gonna roll with the 10.
I respect it. Hey, it's whatever you looked at it when you saw it on the thing.
Yeah, I just think the Giants have no shot at competing with this 49er team. Like, even competing. It'll look more like that Cowboys Week 1 game than anything else.
I think
You
I'm
look
gonna fade you,
confused
Jules.
with that, Alex. You look like you want to say
I
something.
I think
just-
I'm going to
on the
fade
other
both
side.
I
of you
just
guys.
had a-
I think they might cover
You guys
up.
were discussing a 10-point line. I just had a little flashback to the debacle that was Niners minus 7.5 this week, which was
I know
like
what
an
he's
absolute
talking about.
travesty.
Miners what?
Like the
Let him
Niners,
know.
the
Let him
line
know,
was
Alex.
7.5. The line was 7.5,
Oh,
they were
the
up 10.
field goal? Yeah.
and
yeah,
McVay
yeah.
was like, "Nah, we're just
covering
gonna
up."
screw over everyone who bet the Niners." Yeah,
Yeah.
I just had a little
Cover up.
flashback there. I think that's a good bet. I think the Niners are going to kill him.
Yeah, Alex got a little screwed by that one.
Hey, man. It's not that
Fran,
hard,
what
you know,
is your
betting.
second pick of the week?
We're gonna kick it. Let's make sure I know where this game is at. Just I want to make sure before I say this. I think it's at where I think it is. Oh, ew. Yeah. Still, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go to FedEx. And we're gonna take Bills minus 6.5 over the commies. I think that's generous. To be honest, I know the commies somehow make every game close, but it shouldn't be. I really, after watching what the Bills did this weekend, and they seem to be a little more bounced back to the debacle that was week 1. I really don't see the commies keeping this one close. At least not less than the touchdown. Like,
But the team has fight. The team has heart.
shut up, Jules.
They've got heart.
Ron Rivera.
I can't hear you, Alex.
Riverboat
Bears
Ron
legend
is
Ron
not
Rivera.
covering.
No,
Riverboat
I mean,
Ron is
I
not
almost
covering.
took the opposite line. I'm not gonna lie. A home dog getting 6.5.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's a lot of points for a home dog. But
It's not
I'm
gonna
staying
matter.
away from it. Yeah, I'm staying away from it. But
I just don't trust Sam Howell against the Bills defense, to be honest.
Yeah,
Same
that's
way
why
I
I'm
didn't.
staying
Zach
away.
Wilson didn't look good against the Bills defense. It's just that Josh Allen couldn't move the ball and decided to play the Taylor Heineke simulator of Stephon down there somewhere, and then just throws it and hopes. But he couldn't. He didn't make those cool completions that somehow worked for Taylor Heineke for an entire year.
All right, Alex, your second pick.
I got Green Bay at home covering 2 points against the Saints.
Oh,
Against the
I
Saints.
like what I've seen about Jordan Love, or rather, I should say, don't like, but I think he's good, and it's in Lambeau, and I don't know if the Saints can travel to Lambeau, and the 2-point spread is basically irrelevant to me. So, yeah, that's what I'm going for my second pick. Green Bay -2 against New Orleans.
here's my thing with that, right? I would have backed you if the Packers didn't just implode and somehow lose to Atlanta last week. And I don't know. I watched that freaking clip of Jordan Love just like forgetting the hike and just moving the ball, moving like into the thing, and I was like, "There's no way that the Saints are going to allow this to happen." It's like the Saints are significantly a better defense than the Falcons, and like, I don't know, man. I think like just Cam Jordan might like eat him for breakfast. To be honest,
It's like 40 years old.
Cam Jordan is still like one of the best
He's still
interior linemen in the entire league somehow. It makes no sense.
I'll tell you what, Bears fans, the season might have sucked so far, but at least you got that great gem that you can respond to all Packers fans with on Twitter of Jordan Love sneaking without the ball.
That's pretty
That's
bad.
that's an
That's fair.
all-timer.
Yeah, and then they're just gonna show Jordan Love dropping his cojones on us in week 1.
I don't know that play. You know what that gives me? Gives me the vibes of
It's
Kirk
lined up
Cousins
under the right
kneeling.
guard. Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
spiking it.
Oh no, I thought because Kirk also he lined up under the right guard once, thinking he was the center.
Oh, did he?
It's like
Yeah,
Bryce
I thought that's what you were
missing
talking about.
It's like Bryce Young and Gunn behind the right guard,
Mhm,
and
I
Miles
saw
Sanders
that.
had to push him over.
He was like,
No, I
center.
was
running,
thinking of when Kirk Cousins forgot to spike the ball and need it instead with like
yeah, in
14
Washington.
with
yeah.
like 6 seconds left in the half. A
Yeah,
classic.
that's a good one. No,
Am I up or
Oh my God.
did both of you do your
yeah,
first
you're
two?
up.
Sorry for
You're
this quick update. I know this is not football related, but Ronald Acuna just hit his second home run this game, and he's at 39 now. Unbelievable.
Oh,
He comes back from injury and tanks 2 in a row. He's 1 away from the 40-40 club. Sorry,
Okay.
continue. I saw it on my feed, and I was like, oh my God. I'm
Okay.
going to be back on DraftKings.
My second pick today is the second of 2 primetime games I've got. Give me the Buccaneers +5 at home against the Eagles.
Yeah!
It just feels like one of those games. I don't see the Eagles unleashing their power in Tampa this Monday night. It just, I don't know, just something about it reeks of Buccaneers either win or lose by a field goal and just somehow keep it close against a team that they're far unmatched by. That was just fully a gut pick. Absolutely no statistics.
I love it, Jules. I love it. Dude, the Buccaneers are winning the NFC South, so we're all good. I bet at the start of the year, Jules clowned me for this, by the way, Alex, if you didn't know. I bet $50 on the Buccaneers winning more than 6.5 games because that was the line. And they gave me a plus 110 line on it, too. Like, that was the dog for it. And they started off 2-0.
Hey,
bet.
The Bears were 2-1 after 3 weeks last year.
I probably would have clowned you, too. I'm not going to lie.
Did you guys?
6.5.
I just know ball, I guess. You know?
I don't know. I don't know ball. But
Jules is like making fun of me all like the entire week, and the Bucks stunned the Vikings, and I was like, "You all laughed at me. Well, you're not laughing now."
All right, Alex, let's hear your final pick.
Well, no. Francesco's got one.
Oh, is Fran up first? Fran, let's hear your final pick.
Kind of disrespectful, kind of fake.
My bad.
To be honest. We're gonna go. We just were in, FedEx. We're gonna go all the way to the other side of the country, and we're gonna go to Lumen.
Oh
and
man,
we got the Seahawks covering -5.5 against the pitiful Carolina Panthers.
Don't say that. The Seahawks are gonna start 1-2.
They really struggled against the Rams week 1, and then they went into Ford against all expectations
against the blue ski mask,
against the guys who just beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead, and they come in and win that game. Gritty win. Not even gritty. They scored a lot of points, but like pick 6 at the end of the fourth quarter, win it, stop them, go down, score a tutty in overtime to win that game. That was a good win. And they only get 5.5 against the Panthers, who have looked horrible in the first 2 at home. Give me the Hawks.
That one scares me.
And it's 3-0, and we're 3-0 to start the year.
I put my whole faith into the Seahawks this year, starting off so hot.
That was so.
I would love if they could cover this line. So I really hope that you didn't just jinx them.
They're a great team. Great team's covered.
Yeah, I'm a Carolina defender, and even at home in Seattle.
I like the pick. I like the pick. Don't get me wrong.
I can't believe I'm gonna go 3-0 to start this season off, dude. It's not that hard, Jules.
All right.
Go ahead, Ismail.
My third pick, it's a little related to a prior pick I made, just in the opposite direction. I have Baltimore covering 8 points at home against Indianapolis. And I think that's mostly because Baltimore has just looked dominant to start the year, to be honest. The new offensive system looks like it's fitting Lamar and Zay Flowers in particular very well. The loss of J.K. Dobbins doesn't really seem to affect them that much because they can replace any running back there with just aging veterans, it seems. Every year they just find new guys. This year it's Melvin Gordon, but Latavius Murray and Mark Ingram. There's always somebody back there. And I think it's been a really good start to the season for Indy, but they're going to run into a buzzsaw here with Baltimore. And it's only 8 points, which, one possession game is 8 points. So I think Baltimore can cover that at home.
I like that one.
That's not bad.
I don't know. Anthony Richardson scares me.
AR is starting.
That's the other thing, is if it's Minshew, this line's going to go up to 10, maybe 10.5.
I honestly like it either way. I think the Colts can make this a game either way, to be honest. Minshew mania.
Oh, you think the Colts are going to cover?
I haven't thought that far deep enough, but I just don't think that that's a line that was that would be really standing out to me as one that they messed up, because I could see this being
Whenever you think
A
they
one
messed up,
possession.
they didn't actually mess up. You just messed up.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty
No,
much
no,
it, too.
no. My bets aren't bad. The teams I bet on just suck. Don't blame yourself. Most gamblers stop before they win $1 gazillion. If you don't know that,
No, this
fact.
could be your big win.
Could
Well,
be.
I already had my big win earlier this year, so I don't think I'm going to top it for the rest of this season, to be honest. But
6 for 6 on Prize Picks. That's what it's done. That's how. It's done.
oh, dude, don't give me a
Yeah,
power play.
well, Prize Picks doesn't operate in Tennessee, so
Prize Picks also doesn't let you do team money lines and spreads, so I don't mess with that. Can't believe I'm gonna be back on DraftKings when Acuna hits number 40. Oh my god, how did I get roped back into DraftKings? I already go out of there. Damn it!
All right, Jules,
All
play
right.
us out. What's your last pick?
I'll close us out with somehow. I don't know how this happened, but all 9 of our picks were different games. So
I can't believe it. No one's gonna
props
say
to us.
anything.
I'm that absolutely stunning. I'm gonna go with the Texans +9 at
Thank God.
Jacksonville.
Dude, thank God. I thought you were gonna say the Bears covering 12.5, and I was like, please
No.
don't, man.
I didn't even look at the Bears line. No shot.
It was 12.5. It was big.
The Texans have not had a close game in either their first 2 games, but they seem to be looking like, I don't know. The Jaguars really scared me week 1 with somehow covering after I picked them. And
it was
the
fun to
Jaguars
watch.
did not look. The Jaguars could not score in the red zone last week against Kansas City. Every time they'd put them on red zone, I have Trevor Lawrence on my fantasy squad. I'm like, can you please throw a touchdown now, please, please? And he just could. It kept throwing it out of the back of the end zone. I don't know. Maybe the Texans make this a closer game. The Jaguars haven't looked like they have that pull away from you ability so far this year. So I'll roll with, I don't know, +9 seemed pretty generous. So I'll roll with CJ Stroud and the Texans to cover that.
Yeah, I had Ridley anytime touchdown scorer in one of my parlays. That was the only leg that missed last week, and screwed me out of $500 because he.
I would have won. I had a little 4-legger, and Waddle was the only one that didn't score a tutty. But
I mean, did Waddle drop multiple because Ridley did? That hurt. That hurt to watch.
Oh, you want to know what actually hurts? I had a 3-legger last week, and the only leg that didn't hit was Justin Jefferson scoring a touchdown. And Justin Jefferson literally on Thursday, he dropped the ball out of the end zone on the reach for it.
Ouch.
But yeah. I was still up on the day because I got TJ Hawkinson first touchdown, right, which was electric. But I had Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, and then Jetta. And the only one that didn't hit was my wide receiver diving for the pylon and losing the ball. So stupid.
Our favorite rule in sports.
Change the rule. But good bet, Jules. I like it. It's sharp. 9.5.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate getting some praise on this show. It's pretty rare, you know.
Yeah, mid bet, Jules. I don't like it.
All right. Well, thanks for stepping in today, guys. I appreciate it. And we hope all you watching enjoyed. And we will see you for our first Thursday night halftime show of the year for next week's game. That is the Lions and the Packers. And then we'll be back up on every other Tuesday starting in October. So thank you all for watching. Thanks to Culver's. And thanks, Alex and Fran, for showing up and showing out with some hot takes today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. See y'all later.